threats to the White House. A masked pro-Palestinian person takes to social media in a circulating video that has gone viral and threatens Kamala Harris in the Uncle Sam administration. Now, we're not gonna play you the full video, but there are some clips that you're gonna see in today's discussion, and I've tried to check it up online, but I haven't found it. But could this video have any ties to the recent protests that we're seeing in Chicago against Kamala and Uncle Sam? Let's find out in today's discussion. They are calling Kamala Harris the unaliver and that she's supporting Israel because of her ties to Uncle Sam. Today's video should show you that things are very much heated now, and the tension between the black community and the Palestinian community might just even exacerbate. Because we are talking about black people saying that if this is a pro-Palestinian Palestine person behind that mask, the opposite to what Palestinians are protesting for might just happen. And that's not a threat. Now, today's video is to spread awareness and for educational purposes only, but leave your thoughts in the comment section and tell me what you think about today's discussion as we get started.
Here's the video.
The Democratic National Convention is coming to Chicago. It's where the Democratic Party's insiders and delegates come together to crown their next villain. This year, for the first time since 1968, the Democratic nominee will be chosen without a single American voting for them in the primaries, proving that your voice doesn't matter, only their agenda. This election season, Democrats are desperate to rally behind Killer Kamala, a supposedly left-wing candidate who's just as far-right as Trump on policies such as immigration and crime. It looks like Kamala has chosen her partner in crime. She chose Tim Walz as genocidal running mate. If you didn't know, Walz was a former command sergeant who supported the war in Afghanistan. As home to the largest Palestinian diaspora in the country, we want to give Killer Kamala, her partners in crime, and her future VP a warm welcome to our city. We do not care who is on the ballot come this November. We will not be voting for either genocidal party. As the people of Chicago, we condemn in the strongest words possible the Jadal Democratic Party, which has shown no reservations in materially supporting the Israeli genocide in Gaza. It has been over 300 days since the start of the genocide, and over 76 years of colonization by the Zionist entity. We are not only calling for a ceasefire, but we are calling for an end to all U.S. aid to Israel, divestment of the $120 million in Israel bonds that Illinois holds, an end to Chicago's Cop City, and a dismissal of the proposed investment of $900 million for prison renewal in Illinois. We call on our elected officials to invest in our communities, to value jobs and education over genocide and incarceration. We, the people, demand Mayor Johnson and Governor Pritzker to cancel the DNC. We will no longer accept empty gestures by politicians who have been bought out by weapons manufacturers and pro-Israel lobbyists. If the Democratic Party loses in November, the genocidal policies will be blame alone. Stand united in our call for justice. We demand change and we will not be silenced. We charge genocide.
Well, that's fine. They're still going to find you.
Y'all better pray to whatever you pray to, that it is a white supremacist group that is behind that extremist group that's threatening Miss Kamala Harris. Because if it's not a white supremacist group, and it's who I think it is, y'all about to lose hella supporters for the pro-Palestine movement, especially from black and brown people.
Okay, there is a Chicago-based activist group that has put out an ominous video ahead of the Chicago DNC, Democratic National Convention. And it says, as home to the largest Palestinian diaspora in the country, we want to give Kamala, her partners in crime, and her future VP a warm welcome to our city. Okay. All right, this is me, Arlene, completely unfiltered because I'm just going to say it. Okay, first of all, the FBI and the Secret Service are already looking at this video. They are going to find you. They're going to find you because of the IP address that you used to upload that video. And sure, maybe you used a VPN and you're using servers all around the world. That's fine. They're still going to find you. They're going to come for you. They're going to come for your family. They're going to come for everybody associated with you. And they're going to figure out who you all are. And then they're just going to take you away, because that's what happens when you threaten a sitting vice president or president of the United States. This is not some joke. Okay, so that's your number one problem here. But a much bigger problem for you is that you are going after the one person who can help you. Kamala Harris does not have any power right now. And so you're going to attack Kamala Harris as the reason this problem in Gaza exists. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's back up for a second here. Okay, Kamala Harris has no power. The United States has been an ally with Israel for a long time. This is not new, what's happening, but you're holding Kamala Harris accountable for it. And why are you doing that? You're going to alienate the only person who can help you. And while you're doing it, by threatening her like this, by threatening that you will be out in force in Chicago, demonstrating and potentially creating violence because you are being threatening in your video, what's going to come down on you? Not just from the police, but it's going to come from other Americans who are saying, you have to stop what you're doing because there's only one goal here, and that is to make sure that Donald Trump never sees the White House again. But no, what you want to do is you want to go after Kamala Harris. How can you be that stupid? All you're going to do is alienate the one person who can help you and alienate the rest of the Americans who already support you.
Let me make myself perfectly clear. I don't care if you're a Trump supporter like myself or if you're a Harris supporter. There is no room for political violence in our country. I was mortified when there was an attempt against Trump, and I will have that same feeling if the same thing happens to Harris. We are a constitutional republic, meaning that it doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. Everybody has a right to vote for who they choose, and to threaten violence against any candidate and to actually go through with said violence is an atrocity. I do not support any violence towards any political individual. This is a direct result of what's happened the past 8 years. It all started with Antifa. Antifa started going after Trump supporters because of their political belief and who they supported. They assaulted, they went after, and they used strong arm tactics to prevent people from feeling safe about who they support. And now that pendulum is swinging the other way. It is suspected that the group who put out this ominous message is a pro-Palestine group. Most pro-Palestine individuals are extreme leftists. Same people who claim to be Antifa. The pendulum is swinging, ladies and gentlemen. And she had hecklers at one of her rallies yelling at her about Palestine and calling her a murderer because she didn't condemn what was going on in Palestine. And now it appears they're threatening her life. This is not okay, people. This is not okay at all.
There's my source. They made a video. They may have taken the video down by now, but they did make a video. I just happened to catch Arlene's video. Spreading the word, to make a difference. On top of that, my friend, the Zactivist, let me know that he got a letter and was told that they would not be safe outside of the building. They won't have any protection. Y'all take that the way y'all want.
Okay, this is just way too extreme. And I suppose that this sister's last perspective suggests that they are not only threatening Kamala Harris now, but they're also threatening other people who are black. I think it's a content creator or her friend who got threatened. I think that's what I got from that video. But if I'm missing anything, you tell me. But if it's reached these levels, I'm telling you that this is just too extreme. It's way out of hand. And that is the reason why I think it's always the anti-blackness. And now they're just showing it to extreme levels. This is not the first discussion that we're talking about Palestinians that black people have shown solidarity to in the past. But now things are taking a turn, right? They are against any black person that wants to vote for Kamala Harris. But why is that? Because they are calling her an unaliver, that she's unalived thousands of Palestinians because of her ties with Uncle Sam. And even though they know that Kamala Harris doesn't call the shots on anything to do with wars or conflicts because she's not in power, she's not the one with the power, right, to call those shots. They know that. But for some reason, they're taking it out on her. And that threat in that masked figure that we saw, that man, I don't really know whether it's a Palestinian person or if it's a palm-colored person just playing as a Palestinian person. I don't really know, but anything is possible at this point. But if that's a Palestinian person, then this is just gotten out of hand. That is the reason why that sister that we covered in another video was saying that she knows these people, like she's been with them and she knows what kind of people they are. They are anti-black, like the majority of them are anti-black. Like when was the last time you've ever seen Palestinians advocate for any cause in the black community? We're talking about protests. We're talking about things that black people have helped them advocate for and bring awareness in their communities. We're talking about the Free Palestine hashtag movement. Have you ever seen a Palestinian go online and talk about Free Congo or advocate for any black thing that has got to do with black freedom or black rights? They've never done that. And why do you think that is? Because they don't want the competition. They see black people as a lower class. Like when you go into some of these communities, you'll find that they value palm colorness more. Like the darkest people in their communities are the lower class. And I'm pretty sure Arabs have this as well because Indians have this too, right? Where the black people or the darkest Indians are the lower class, the darkest Arabs are the lower class, it's always like that. So that view in their eyes wouldn't be something of a controversy. It would be normal to them. Like, let me just take it way back in history. Like, how do you think Islam was spread? During the medieval period, the trans-Saharan slave trade was a significant factor in the spread of Islam in sub-Saharan Africa. Muslim traders and explorers facilitated this trade across the sub-Saharan desert. Many enslaved people brought to the Islamic world were from various regions of Africa, and through this process, Islam spread into areas of West and Central Africa. Like I was seeing a debate about this, and it was a black pastor that was saying if the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was still alive today and he was still orchestrating that slavery, a lot of black people wouldn't become Muslim. Like at their own will, they wouldn't. I guess the same thing can be said about Christianity to a degree, because the things that were going on with black people were so outrageous to the point that a lot of them lost their lives and turned to Islam. But why do you think another race would want to subjugate their rule upon another race? It's because of colonialism, right? Palm color entitlement. That's how Europeans colonized Africans. Europeans were palm colored and white, so they looked at Africans as animals and barbaric. The same thing was happening here, right? We're gonna educate the darker man with our religion so that he becomes civilized. And that's how these hierarchical structures were created. So it's still ingrained in their minds. The thing is that on the East African coast, the spread of Islam was also linked to the Indian Ocean slave trade. Arab traders established coastal cities such as Kilwa, Mombasa, and Zanzibar. Slavery was a part of the ecosystem in the cities, and it contributed to the spread of Islam as enslaved individuals and traders from the Arabian Peninsula and Persian Gulf regions interacted with local communities. Now, the negative impacts about this were very, very vast. Most Africans lost their own cultures and traditions and own religions and all that. But history tries to obscure this by saying that trade was very good for Africans because it enabled them to migrate and also develop and also become civilized. Like those are the points that I was able to find when I was doing this research. But the other thing I want to turn back to is that I know that you're pretty much aware of what's going on in Chicago and those protests and the threats against Kamala Harris. So that is the reason why I didn't provide that much insight on that, because most people are familiar about this. But you can always leave your thoughts in the comment section and update us on what's really going on currently. And tell me, do you think they're gonna catch that masked individual that we saw in the beginning of that video? And also take a guess. Do you think it's a palm color person cosplaying as a Palestinian person, or is it a Palestinian person? Signing off for now. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.